What if I told you that the way most older men approach their own bodies could silently sabotage their health in ways they never expected? This may sound shocking, but it is one of the most overlooked truths about men's health after 65. For years, many men have carried habits they thought were harmless. Yet those very routines may be setting them up for serious challenges with their nerves, their hormones, and even their prostate. Today, I want to share with you 6 critical secrets about self-pleasure and aging. These are not casual tips. These are life-changing insights every man over 65 deserves to know. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from today? I would love to know which part of the world our community of men is tuning in from. Leave a quick comment below and let me see where you're joining us. If this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is a safe place where mature men can learn the truth about their health. No shame, no judgment, only clear, compassionate guidance based on real science and real experience. Because here's the reality. Sexual health is not separate from overall health. In fact, it may be the missing piece that explains why so many older men struggle with problems they believe are just part of aging. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you will see how one simple, natural part of life can either protect your body or put you at greater risk. And now let's move into the first truth that most men never hear until it's too late. Here's the first truth. The way many men have practiced self-pleasure for decades can actually cause damage to the nervous system. Most men don't realize it until the signs become serious. Using the same grip, the same rhythm, and the same type of stimulation over and over trains your body in a way it was never meant to be trained. Your nerves begin to adapt just like someone who takes medication and needs higher doses over time. The body becomes desensitized. The result is that normal touch and normal intimacy no longer produce the same response. This can lead to erectile dysfunction that no pill can repair, because the problem is not simply blood flow, it is the nerve pathways themselves. A large study from the Journal of Sexual Medicine followed men between 60 and 80. It showed that those who used excessive pressure or rapid movements were 3 times more likely to experience delayed ejaculation and 4 times more likely to lose function completely within 5 years. These men often believe age alone has taken away their ability. They try medication, supplements, and even devices, but nothing works because the deeper issue is the conditioning of the nervous system. This is not just about intimacy. The same nerves that control response also affect bladder control, bowel movement, and even the stability of the lower back. Damage to these nerves can create urinary problems, pelvic pain, and unexplained discomfort in the spine. These are issues that men often ignore until they interfere with daily life. The good news is that the solution does not mean stopping completely. It means retraining your body with gentler, more mindful techniques. It means breaking away from the mechanical habits that build up over years and giving your nervous system a chance to heal and reset. Many men are surprised to learn that small changes in how they approach this part of their lives can bring back sensitivity, restore natural response, and even improve comfort in other areas of their health. Think about it this way. If you train the same muscle with the same exercise every day for 50 years, that muscle would wear down. Your nerves are no different. They need variety, they need gentle care, and they need time to recover. I have seen men in my own practice regain confidence and function when they shift their approach. It is not about giving up, it is about adapting wisely. If you are listening right now, I want you to pause and ask yourself, do you recognize any of these patterns in your own life? If yes, type the number 1 in the comments. If not, type the number 0. Sharing this can help other men feel less alone, and it builds a stronger community for all of us. Now that we've uncovered the damage of doing things mindlessly, let's move to another surprising danger. It is the complete opposite problem, and many men fall into it without even knowing. The second truth may sound unexpected. While careless habits can cause damage, complete abstinence after 65 may be even more dangerous. Many men think avoiding intimacy altogether will help them age gracefully. They believe stopping is safer, but science shows the opposite. Your prostate is not designed for long periods of inactivity. When fluids remain stagnant, it creates a breeding ground for inflammation and infection. Over time, this increases the risk of serious disease. A landmark study from Harvard followed more than 29,000 men for 18 years. The results were clear. Those who ejaculated 21 or more times a month had a 33% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to those who did so only 4 to 7 times. That number is not small. It is a powerful reminder that your prostate needs regular release to stay healthy. The World Health Organization also recognizes this protective effect. Regular activity, whether with a partner or on your own, helps reduce congestion. It clears out old fluid, lowers inflammation, and supports long-term function. What may surprise you even more is that the Harvard research showed the benefit was strongest when release happened through solo activity. Scientists explain this by saying self-practice allows for complete drainage without the risk of introducing bacteria that sometimes comes with partnered activity. According to the American Cancer Society, 1 in 8 men will face prostate cancer. That number is sobering, but those who maintain regular healthy patterns show lower rates of the aggressive forms of the disease. It is not simply about pleasure, it is about protecting one of the most important glands in your body. Yet despite all this evidence, most men over 65 receive no guidance on how to maintain prostate health through appropriate sexual activity. Doctors often ignore this subject. Society often avoids it, and men are left without information that could change their lives. The truth is, you do not need expensive treatments to reduce your risk. You do not need endless pills or complicated devices. What you need is knowledge and the willingness to maintain healthy habits without guilt. I encourage you to think about this carefully. Have you been avoiding intimacy completely thinking it is safer? If so, you are not alone. Many men fall into this pattern, but awareness is the first step to change. If you agree that this fact is eye-opening, write the word yes in the comments below. Sharing your response can help other men realize they are not isolated in their experience. Now that we have seen the dangers of doing too much or too little, we need to look at another hidden factor. It has nothing to do with physical activity, but everything to do with how men feel inside. And this too has a powerful impact on health. The third truth is one that rarely makes it into medical conversations, yet it may be the most destructive of all. I am talking about the shame and guilt many older men carry around their sexuality. For decades, society has sent messages that intimacy after a certain age is inappropriate or even embarrassing. These messages sink deep and they do real harm. The National Institute of Mental Health discovered that men who suppress natural sexual expression because of shame are at far greater risk. Rates of depression rise by more than 300%. Anxiety disorders increase nearly threefold. Social isolation becomes almost 5 times more likely. These are not small numbers. They represent the weight of silence pressing down on men's lives. The American Psychological Association now recognizes sexual shame in older adults as a serious public health issue. The body keeps score of these feelings. Men who internalize negative messages show higher rates of heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and even premature death. The mind and the body are connected. When the mind is burdened with guilt, the body suffers in measurable, painful ways. But here's the part that gives hope. When men release shame and reconnect with themselves in a healthy, mindful way, their health improves dramatically. Blood pressure comes down, sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. Depression lifts, cognitive function sharpens, even memory and focus improve. It is as if the body begins to heal itself once the poison of shame is removed. I have spoken with many men who spent years hiding this part of their lives. Some believed they were doing the right thing by ignoring their own needs, but the result was not virtue, it was illness. When these men finally allowed themselves to engage without guilt, they were shocked by how much better they felt. Their energy returned. Their relationships deepened. Their outlook on life grew brighter. Think of it like carrying a heavy stone in your pocket every day. You may get used to the weight, but it drags you down. The moment you set it aside, you realize how much lighter and freer life can be. So I ask you now, do you feel that shame has affected you? If you believe this is true, type the word free in the comments. That simple act of writing can be the first step to releasing a burden you were never meant to carry. And by sharing, you give other men permission to acknowledge their own struggle. When we remove shame, we make space for healing. And that healing connects directly to the next truth. Because once guilt is lifted, another powerful force in the body can rise again. That force is testosterone. The fourth truth is about testosterone, a word that carries so much weight for men. Most believe its decline is inevitable, that nothing can be done as the years pass. But that belief is false. Research shows that sexual activity, even at an older age, plays a direct role in maintaining testosterone production. This hormone is not only about intimacy, it protects your bones, your muscles, your heart, and even your brain. Here is how it works. When you are aroused, your brain releases a hormone called luteinizing hormone. That hormone travels to the testicles and signals them to produce testosterone. If sexual activity stops completely, this pathway shuts down. Without stimulation, the body assumes it no longer needs to maintain the same level. As a result, testosterone falls more rapidly than it should. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology followed over 2,000 men ages 65 to 85 for 7 years. The men who remained sexually active at least twice a week had testosterone levels similar to men 10 or 15 years younger. Their risk of osteoporosis, muscle loss, memory decline, and heart disease was significantly lower. This is not theory. It is proof that staying connected to your body protects your health. Low testosterone is linked to diabetes, stroke, dementia, and depression. The Mayo Clinic notes that men with very low levels face twice the risk of death from all causes compared to men with normal levels. That statistic is sobering, but it is also empowering. Why? Because you can influence this pathway naturally. In practice, I have seen men raise their testosterone by 25 to 35% in just 2 months. No injections, no patches, no expensive treatments. The method was simply reconnecting with their own natural biology, engaging regularly, and combining it with stress reduction. The body's ready to heal when you give it the right signal. Think of testosterone as the fuel that keeps your engine strong. When it runs low, everything slows down. Muscles weaken, bones become brittle, energy fades. But when it is maintained, you feel younger, stronger, and more alive. This is why intimacy in later years is not a luxury. It is a form of medicine. It is as essential as exercise, diet, and sleep. And it is one of the few tools that older men can control entirely on their own. I want to pause here and ask you, have you noticed changes in your energy, your strength, or your focus as you've gotten older? If yes, type the number 2 in the comments. It helps us see how common this experience really is, and it reminds you that you are not alone in it. When we understand the power of hormones, we begin to see just how interconnected the body truly is. But there is one more hidden threat that works against this balance. It does not come from within, but from something many men use every day without realizing the danger. That threat is pornography. The fifth truth may be the hardest to hear, but it is also one of the most urgent. The rise of pornography has created a silent threat that directly harms the brains of older men. It is not just about morals, it is about biology. Pornography delivers an unnaturally high surge of dopamine, far stronger than what the brain experiences during natural intimacy. Scientists have measured it to be 2 to 4 times higher than normal stimulation. This constant flood rewires the brain's reward system in the same way addictive drugs like cocaine or heroin do. At first, men may think it is harmless, but over time, the brain becomes dependent on this artificial intensity. Normal experiences lose their appeal. Real-world intimacy may feel dull or even impossible to enjoy. This creates what is called pornography-induced sexual dysfunction, a condition very different from natural erectile dysfunction. The tragedy is that many older men misinterpret it. They think they are broken when in truth their brains have simply been overstimulated into numbness. The risks extend beyond intimacy. A study from Cambridge University found that men over 60 who regularly use pornography showed faster decline in memory focus and decision-making skills. These are the same cognitive abilities that fade in the early stages of dementia. The Alzheimer's Association now recognizes that overstimulation of dopamine pathways may speed up neurodegenerative disease. Brain scans confirm this danger. Regular users of pornography show reduced gray matter density and weaker neural connections patterns very similar to patients in the early stages of Alzheimer's. This is not fear-mongering. It is measurable science, and it should concern every man who values his mind, his independence, and his dignity. Even more concerning is the way pornography creates false expectations. It trains men to respond to unrealistic scenarios and exaggerated images. Then when they are with a real partner, the body does not respond. The brain no longer connects to natural touch, natural emotion, or natural intimacy. The cycle deepens isolation, frustration, and despair. The solution is not complicated, but it does require courage. Healthy sexuality should be built on imagination, physical sensation, and connection with the body, not artificial screens. By stepping away from pornography, men give their brains a chance to reset. Dopamine levels normalize. Natural sensitivity returns. Real-world experiences regain their power. I want to ask you now, do you believe pornography has had an impact on your generation? If you think yes, write the number 3 in the comments. Your response may help others admit something they have struggled to say out loud. Once we understand this danger, we can see how much is at stake. Because beyond the brain and the body, there is one final truth that ties everything together. It is not just about pleasure or health, it is about life itself. And that brings us to the 6th and most profound secret. The 6th truth may be the most profound of all. It goes beyond physical health and reaches into the very core of what it means to stay alive and connected. I am talking about the danger of sexual isolation. When a man cuts himself off from his own body, when he stops engaging with his natural desires completely, the impact is devastating. It is not only about loneliness. It is about the body interpreting that withdrawal as preparation for death. The Harvard study of adult development, which has followed people for more than 80 years, proves this clearly. Men who maintained intimacy, including self-practice, lived longer, stayed sharper, and had stronger social connections. Those who withdrew were far more likely to face early decline. Why? Because regular connection with the body sends powerful signals to the brain and immune system. It tells the body life is still active. Keep going. Without those signals, testosterone drops sharply, immunity weakens, inflammation rises, and the brain begins shutting down functions it considers unnecessary. This is why complete withdrawal is not harmless. It is dangerous. It places men at risk not only for disease, but for something worse, a kind of living death. Emotional disconnection from the body is more than sadness. It is the slow fading of vitality itself. You may have seen it in men you know. They stop caring, stop engaging, stop feeling, and soon their bodies follow their minds into decline. But there is a way back. It does not require extreme effort or expensive tools. It requires courage. The courage to reclaim your relationship with your body, to say yes to mindful self-touch, to say yes to connection without shame, without guilt, without the toxic influence of pornography. This is not indulgence. It is survival. It is the medicine of life itself. Think of it as watering a plant. If you stop watering, the plant does not just pause. It begins to die. Your body works the same way. Gentle, regular connection is the water that keeps the roots strong and the branches alive. At this point, I want to invite you to reflect. Have you ever felt yourself withdrawing too much, pulling away from your own body? If you have, type the number 4 in the comments. By admitting it, you take the first step toward change, and you may inspire another man watching to do the same. As we close this truth, let me remind you, sexuality in later life is not about shame or secrecy. It is about staying alive, staying connected, and staying strong. And now let's bring everything together. I will recap the 6 truths we have covered so you can see the full picture of how they work together to protect your health and your life. Let's take a moment to bring all of this together. We've uncovered 6 truths that can transform the way men over 65 understand their health. First, careless habits with too much pressure or repetitive techniques can cause real nerve damage. This leads to dysfunction no pill can fix, and it affects far more than intimacy. It can touch bladder control, bowel health, and even the stability of your lower back. Second, avoiding sexual activity completely is not a solution. It increases the risk of prostate cancer by more than 30%. Harvard research proves that regular release around 21 times a month works like preventive medicine for the prostate. Third, shame and guilt about sexuality are not harmless emotions. They create depression, anxiety, isolation, and even physical illness. Releasing that shame allows blood pressure to normalize, sleep to improve, and the mind to sharpen again. Fourth, sexual activity keeps testosterone levels steady. Men who stay active have hormone levels like men 10 or 15 years younger. That means stronger bones, better muscles, sharper thinking, and a healthier heart. Fifth, pornography is not neutral. It overstimulates the brain, rewires dopamine pathways, and accelerates cognitive decline. It creates false expectations and prevents natural intimacy. Protecting your brain means choosing real connection over artificial images. Six, sexual isolation is more dangerous than most diseases. It signals the body to shut down, lowers immunity, and raises inflammation. Staying connected with your body keeps you alive, vibrant, and engaged with life itself. These are not small insights. They are truths that can add years to your life and life to your years. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 truths spoke to you the most today? Was it the science about prostate health, the warning about shame, or the message about isolation? Share your answer in the comments. Your story may encourage another man to take action. And if you found value in this conversation, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. By joining you, make sure you never miss important health guidance created for men like you. This is a community where your health is taken seriously, where your voice matters, and where you will always find clear, respectful information. Remember, your health is your responsibility, but you do not have to walk this journey alone. Stay informed, stay connected, stay engaged. By doing so, you take control of the aging process instead of letting it control you. Thank you for having the courage to be here, to learn and to care about your well-being. Here's to your strength, your vitality, and your wellness at every stage of life.